The Habs play spoiler to the sore loser Lightning as this title contender gets their butt handed to them by a borderline AHL roster. Kirby Dach scores in this return, Suzuki gets 2 points. There's a lot of good and a lot of questionable on this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's game reaction edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, alongside my co-host, Jesse Poirier. And a reminder before we get into this really fun, intense game recap, reminder to hit subscribe if you like the videos. Help us hit 5,000 before the end of the year. If you haven't hit that button yet, take a look. Is it red? Click it. There's a lot more videos where this one comes from. Jesse, that was a great game. Montreal, one of their more resilient, one of their stronger performances of the season against a powerhouse in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I thought this would have been a really fun game if not for that horrible, horrible ending where Mikhail Sergachev throws Josh Anderson down to the ice on an empty net attempt. Anderson's ankle smashes into the post. You hope he's okay, but he was in a lot of pain. I think let's just get into this right off the bat because honestly, Tampa to me looks like a sore loser team. They always have looked like that. Not everyone on the team, of course. I'm not going to name any players in particular, except for maybe Mikhail Sergachev and Pat Maroon. Sergachev, of course, traded by the Habs for Drouin a long time ago. That play, to me, was just completely unnecessary. But not only did he throw Anderson down to the ice because they were losing 3-1, or 3-2 at that time, the refs didn't even call a penalty, and they gave the face-off at center ice. It was just so much questionable at the end of this amazing game, Jesse. I just went on a rant. What are your thoughts?
Well, you just got to hope that Josh Anderson is okay. In typical fashion, he's going hard to the net, and these type of things are going to happen. I think you're totally right, Josh. Like, he does kind of shove him to the ice there when he's in an awkward position. He's kind of battling for the puck to kind of rally in the net there. So I think a little bit of a dirty play, questionable for me again that, they kind of huddled up and still no call there. So would have definitely liked to have seen that, a different ending to an otherwise very great game tonight.
Yeah, and obviously, bad luck that his skate hit right into the post. That on its own is maybe not Sergachev's fault, but he shouldn't have been pulled down anyway. They got their arms wrapped up in each other, and Anderson's not going down there on his own. So, I don't want to harp on this too much because there's a lot of good to get into in this game, Jesse. But let us know in the comments right off the bat here, what were your thoughts on that play by Sergachev? We want to hear it because we're quite upset. It sucks to see another injury. Hopefully it's nothing serious for Anderson, but he looked like he was in a lot of pain. We'll keep you guys updated. But Jesse, let's get to the good. Early in this game, within the first, 10 minutes of the first period, Kirby Dach and Brendan Gallagher, they're back, finally playing again. Kind of a surprise that they kind of just came back only a day after their first practice with the team in a while, and Kirby showed out early, getting a goal. And not only that, soon after that, Denis Gurianov with a beautiful pass to Jonathan Drouin for his first real goal of the season, I'll say. His first one was just kind of a sitting puck in the crease that he batted in. How great was it to see not only Kirby get a goal in his first game back, but Drouin coming out against the team he was benched against in their last game, coming out and making a snipe of a shot. It just feels awesome.
Yeah, it's so nice to see Kirby Dach back. So happy to see him and Gallagher back tonight. And I think Drouin was really responding from the one-game suspension. We had mentioned, we thought, if anything, having to watch the game from the bench, that's going to light a fire underneath you, so nice to see him respond in that way to this game. Just playing quick, that's what I really liked about this Habs team tonight, and even though in the second period when Tampa Bay, started to come back a little bit, we just kept putting our will into the game as well and kind of being resilient and coming back. And I really felt like that was such a big difference, along with Monty at the end, just kind of making some saves. I think I have a new nickname. I'm not sure if he deserves it yet, but it's Big Save Monty.
Big Save Monty.
He was making some huge ones tonight.
I like that. I like that a lot. Big Save Monty, Dikembe. The guy was all over the place, and I didn't even mention him just then when I was talking about the first period, but how many times in this game, Jesse, did he save the Habs after maybe a misplay defensively or a turnover or something? This guy was everywhere. I wish we had an animation for him, but by the way, just a quick animation one that we haven't been able to play in a while, Jesse. Oh, how great is it to see our little boy Kirby back on the screen? Amazing. What do you think? What do you think the effect was on team morale? Because this first period was one of the stronger ones we've seen in a while. Do you think just seeing Gally and Dach back in the lineup really spurred the guys to play a little bit harder?
It is, and the result tonight, Josh, I think was a result of good play built over a couple games, a couple lapses here and there. But for the most part, we've been really building upon the concepts that Martin St. Louis, our coach, has been teaching the team. And I think as a result of that, once you just kind of get an influx of a couple healthy guys back, finally, that translates into a W. So I think it really is a good sign for the future as we start to get more guys back from injury and into next year. Now that, Martin St. Louis had over a year as head coach and we've really gotten good habits as a team, then you really start to put those talent in those positions where you need it. I think we're going to get great results as a part of that.
I think that's a fantastic point. And yeah, this game here, I know a lot of people are Team Tank. And that's fair. I mean, at this point, getting a good draft pick, the Habs are nowhere near the playoffs. It's impossible. They've been eliminated as far as I know. But getting a good draft pick is really going to help the team. But at the same time, a win like this against a team like the Lightning, the team that pretty much every Habs fan hates, and I've seen some people saying they might even have to end up cheering for the Leafs in the playoffs if they face the Lightning, which is borderline sacrilege, but honestly, Tampa is pretty hateable. So a win against them always feels pretty good, especially after that play at the end, but also one in the second period, Jesse. And I'm going to go on another quick rant here. One I've gone on already this year. I hate how the NHL has turned into, if you make a clean check, you need to fight for it. Michael Pezzetta makes a clean check and gets just straight up jumped by Pat Maroon, a guy almost double his size, just jumped. No instigator penalty, nothing. They kind of scrap in the corner and they both get 2 minutes and it ends up being a 4-on-4. To me, that is just, there's a lot wrong with that. Like, if you want to ban fighting like the QMJHL, I don't think that's going to go over well, but like, I don't get this. Clean hit leads to getting jumped, leads to you both have to serve a penalty. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? What are you guys in the comments? What do you think?
Yeah, well, we've seen this happen already a couple times with Pezzetta. As we saw, he was definitely rattling cages, kind of creating momentum, and these are big, clean hits. Like, he's not a dirty player. He's just finishing his checks, and I think for that, he's going to get a spot on our fourth line just for that, because that is really needed, and he's doing what some other players aren't, and he's going to get that spot because of it. But yeah, it stops the play, it stops the flow of the game, and I think you're totally right, Josh. It's like, if you're going to jump the guy afterwards, like, you're going to have to take a penalty for that. Like, you lay a clean hit, why is Pezzetta going to go to the box just for defending himself, in a quick little scuffle afterwards, right? It doesn't make any sense, and I think that the NHL definitely wants to look into this. Dirty hits, like, this is why we have fighting in the game, is to protect against dirty hits. I think there's already plenty of things that stop, dirty plays from happening, slashing, things like this. So we don't need hits after, and fights after clean hits, especially since we already have, things in place to stop that.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's frustrating, and especially in a game like this where more open ice, like, back in the day, the Oilers would take penalties when they were on a power play. They'd take a penalty so they could have 4-on-4 for more open ice for Wayne Gretzky. And in a situation like this, Pezzetta lays a clean hit, gets jumped by someone on Tampa, and let's be real, Tampa thrives in a 4-on-4 way more than Montreal does. They're a fast-paced team with some elite goal scorers. So anyway, we'll move on from that frustrating thing. Let us know in the comments. But I wanted to get into a few other good things before the game is over. I thought Gurianov played really well tonight, Jesse. Nick Suzuki with 2 points. Justin Barron looked solid again. Savard had a couple great hits. Montembeault was amazing, and Mike Matheson continues his tear. This guy feels like he's either getting on the score sheet or at least in a highlight reel every single night. Is there anything left to say about Matheson that we haven't said already? This guy is proving to be maybe the Habs. Like, we thought it was for sure Kaiden Guhle. I don't think it's out of the question to see Matheson as the #1 guy heading into next year.
Oh, because he just keeps getting better and better every single game. And I think that Jeff Petrie deal is just aging so nicely. Yeah. I think we really found somebody we need. I think Kent Hughes, once again, is just showing all the reasons of why we should really trust him. I think that for certain positions, he's looking for specific skills, and he knows where to find that. If there's one thing that Kent Hughes knows, it's NHL players, it's personnel. He's well aware, so it's a great asset to have somebody with that amount of knowledge on our team, that amount of scouting knowledge as well, bringing these type of players to our team.
Yeah, no, you're very right. And like, every day, I feel like I trust Kent Hughes more. The vision he sees things in players, and it feels like players are getting an opportunity to thrive in Montreal where maybe they wouldn't have in other places. Look at Kirby Dach, look at Mike Matheson. Of course, his tenure in Florida was, he mentioned, like, yeah, Gurianov, another great one. The guy is producing at a crazy level with Montreal. I think he's at 5 goals and 2 assists now in 12 games, something like that, 7 points in 12 games. And, you know, if Gurianov can end up being a 20-goal scorer for Montreal, power play specialist, he'd be like Mike Hoffman on steroids, which is like kind of what we want from him, right? I mean, that's pretty much perfect. So, yeah, the vision is really going well. And the game like this tonight really shows the strength of this Habs team and the camaraderie and the willingness to play for each other. Seeing these guys in Gallagher and Dach come back into the lineup. Jesse, before we started, you mentioned something about resiliency from this Habs team. It's something we've seen a lot this year. When a team like Tampa started really knocking at the door in the third period, fighting, trying to score a goal. Yes, they eventually did get one that made it 3-2, the Pat Maroon goal, but like, what else can you say about this Habs team? Like, just strictly about their ability to really not take themselves too seriously and also not put themselves down too much. They truly feel like they can compete in every game, and I think tonight they really showed that.
Definitely, and I think it's a testament to Martin St. Louis and his philosophy that he's really established with this team. I thought in the second period, when Tampa Bay was starting to get a lot more of the momentum, they always just did enough to gain control of the game, you know, where they're still, you know, leading the play for the most, where they're still sticking in there, right? And I thought that just all those little plays just really made all the difference, which really, you know, is the reason why we got the W tonight, you know, when I think our goalies, even in the last couple of games, have been doing a great job as well, even though the numbers aren't always showing it. Again, Montembeault is a big reason.
His 4th straight start, I think.
You know, absolutely. You know, like, why we're getting this W tonight, you know, make no mistake about it. So really nice to see that kind of that evolution. I did not expect this from Samuel Montembeault to be winning us these type of 50-50 type games this year. So I think that, you know, he could be a really amazing 1B. For me, if we can just find that kind of that 1A, because I feel like the goaltending, it's something we need to address sooner than later. And I feel like that'll probably be after the draft, that'll be one of the biggest moves that the Montreal Canadiens make.
I think so too. And Jesse, there's one player I'm eyeing. I mean, I was looking at some college guys recently, but the one goalie I'm eyeing, Dustin Wolf from the Calgary Flames system. The guy has something like a .935 save percentage in the AHL this year. This guy is like, I think he's the real deal. Is it the AHL? I'm not sure, but I think Dustin Wolf, he won gold medal with the U.S. at the World Juniors, I think, just a couple of years ago. And the guy is like, I'm excited for him. I think Kent Hughes, they have a relationship with Calgary after the Tyler Toffoli trade, so I don't see why not. I think a number 1 goalie, you're right, is the thing of the future. Monty is a 1B. I'd love it. The guy has kept the Habs in so many games this year. But all the same, hey, I think that was a great win, character win, gutsy win for Montreal. Yes, I know that it moves Montreal up in the standings, but hey, Philadelphia, who is 1 spot ahead of Montreal in the standings, also won tonight, and they faced Florida. Florida lost, Philly won, Montreal won. Standings don't change. I consider that a big win. But that'll do it for this game reaction edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Help us hit 5,000 subs before the end of the season. We really appreciate all the support you guys give, and we hope it continues after this season into next season and long past that. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.